G'day folks, and welcome back to Metal Mania 3D TV. I'm your host KC, and in today's video it's part 2 of Sandra's car where we're cleaning it up and fixing it, and if you haven't seen part 1, on the top right hand corner of your screen I'll have a banner come out there so you can check it out in part 1 where we first started off. But as you can see from here, the right hand front fender guard, in Australia we call it, offside fender, want to get too particular, but she's had a little bit of an incident in there over winter before we come back to summer, so we'll have to repair that again. And then there's also a little bit of damage on the other side front fender. We'll just fix the little scratches up and repairs. They haven't done any damage to the eyebrow, which is good, but you'll see on the bonnet hood where the sun's just made it go all blurry, you'll see how bad that paint is there. And then also the same up on the roof. We'll fix all of that. We're going to run the 400 grit over there on the air sander, top of the tailgate as well. And of course we've got this repair down here that we'll need to paint. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll get organised, we'll get into that front fender. But firstly I'd like to say a big warm welcome to all of our new subscribers and all of our old faithful subscribers. We appreciate you all sticking around and hanging with us, we really do. And so here we go, we'll get into knocking that ding out. Now if you remember in part 1 how bad that fender was and I knocked it out, you can see that I actually did repair it properly because she's damaged it there and it's just straight to the metal again. So we'll organise to get the inner guard off and the bumper out of the road there so we don't damage it. And I'll have to take the headlight out, so I'll do all that off camera there instead of wasting time doing that there, and we'll get booking in. Okay, as you can see I'm air sanding this down. And you'll see this paint here, it's still peeling off, so I've got to get rid of all of that together until we get to this sort of area here to get it all nice and clean. Otherwise later on this will just come back. So whoever did this before didn't prep it properly, and they put really probably 1 or 2 coats at the least on here, and yeah, that's all just coming off there, so that's got to be all fanned back there. And when you get any of these little spider web marks like this one right here, you've got to sand that right back to the bare metal, otherwise it'll just come through the new paint again. Righto, we'll keep going along. Righto, as you can see we've got that all pulled to bits, knocked out. I know it looks like there's a lot there, but 90% of that fella's going to come off when I sand it. I'll have to try and get it in one hit, but there'll be a few pinholes that we'll have to get. And as you can see I had to pull that plastic liner out to get up in here. Now I hate them things, I seriously hate them. And to get up in there is near impossible because of the radiator support panel on the front skirt. There's hardly any room to get in there, but anyway, we got it there, so we'll sand it all down and then we'll get it into high fill and then we'll keep cracking along. There you can see we've got it all sanded down, ready for put a coat of high fill on there so we can get any of the little imperfections there. And as you can see through most of it. So yeah, and then I should have mentioned that at the beginning, that sort of damage there is what they call stretch the metal. So I had to be careful that I didn't turn this fender into an oil can. Because an oil can just keeps bending in and out, and you need oxy, shrinking hammers and all that sort of stuff there, and if I wanted to do a file finish on that there I would have had to do all of that, but this is just an everyday car and Sandra can't afford a heap, so we're not doing a prestige on it, we're not working on a Ferrari or high-end vehicle. Still want to do the job right of course, but yeah, anyway we'll get high fill primer on there and then we'll get back to on this bonnet hood and then onto the roof. Alright, now it's all in high fill. I just put a couple of coats on there, didn't need a lot because it's pretty straight. But anyway, yep, that's that bit there done. So we'll get organised and we'll keep getting in on to the rest of it. Righto, sorry about the compressor, but I've got this side here all cleaned up there. I was able to push most of that out from behind because it wasn't that bad, and I was able to block it back. So what I'll do is just put another couple of coats of high fill on there, and then we'll block it back when we go to paint it, and it should be all good. Okay, we've got this in high fill now, so we'll just put a guide coat on that there. If I told you before, I don't know if you remember, but put a guide coat on it so when you rub it all down, you know, it's all even more straight, and you've got it all nice and clean and flat. Right, we'll put a guide coat in there, then we'll get onto the bonnet hood. Righto, we're just about done there. We've still got a few more edges to feather out there because that clear just keeps coming off something shocking. So I've got to take all of that off. Any of that is going to come off loose. All of the new paint will react to it. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. Righto, we've got all of that sanded down. At the end of the day, I probably should have just paint stripped the bonnet, to be honest, instead of doing what I did there. But anyway, the sun doesn't even want to let me focus now. But anyway, there we are. We've got all those loose edges off, and we've got all those little spider web rust parts that are underneath the paint, all back to bare metal. I'll etch those bare metal spots, we'll mask it all up, and we'll get a room primer. Okay, there we go. We're all masked up, ready to get the bonnet etched up and then in primer. And yes, the wiper squirters will come out when we do the final paint, because I will do a small clean up there when I pull them out. The car's 25 years old and they're plastic and they're brittle, and I just do not want to take them in and out, in and out, in and out. Otherwise it'll create disaster. Can't even get a fuel cap filler lid for this car anymore. It's you got to get one from either Germany or over in the UK. Righto, she's all etched up and she's all primed up. I'll put a light guide coat on there in a moment. I'm glad that was only the primer. I'll have to do this in the shed when I get a chance to move a bit of stuff there. Doing it outside, the wind is just horrendous. One minute it's no, and the next minute it's blowing all the paint away and trying to get an even coat with what a mission. But anyway, we knew that was going to happen, so I'll stop whinging about that. But yeah, we'll put a guide coat on there and then we'll get on to the roof and keep cracking on. Righto, there we go. We've got the guide coat on, and you can see where we had no wind and then we got heaps of wind. It's got like black GT stripes on there. Anyway, at least the sheet let go now after the paint's dried, I guess. It's a good bonus there. But yeah, all right, we'll keep moving. There we go, we're all back together, because I've been doing this in bits and pieces because Sandra can't do without a car, because she still drives around and does her own thing, which is good at her age. I hope I'm able to in my late 80s. But we'll keep going along. We'll get the roof done, and then we'll get it all rubbed down and then painted silver. That'll be good to see that. Rightio, as you can see, I've been using this beautiful brand new spatula, bog applicator, filler applicator, however you want to call it, and I cleaned all the edges off so it's dead smooth. So I was able to get a good percentage of that clear off, but the rest I'll still sand the roof, of course, but I'm just going to get most of that off. It'll say clogging the sandpaper, and then we'll get into organising, get it in primer, and then we'll also do the same on the back of the tailgate here. This is where I've backmasked it all, as you can see there, because I don't want any primer or any paint going down inside that rear tailgate jam area. So yeah, we'll get on there and we'll keep going there. We'll get organised with the sander with 400 and we'll go over it, and then we'll start getting the etch on the bare metal areas and we'll get it in primer. As you can see, we've got it all down the primer. There was a stone chip down there and it had rust in it, so I had to take it back to bare metal in a couple of spots. It's typical for the leading edge of the turret roof. It's called the turret in the panel industry, and Americans call it the roof, which is the roof, but in technical terms, yeah. So I've got all of the whole roof there has to come down to that, and if we get any rust spots, we'll there. So we'll just keep cracking along. Alright, so there's the whole roof. That's I've got to do a bit more around all the leading edges because you can't get in there with the air sander, and that's 3 hours work. Prepping all of that up there, ready to get it organised. Sorry about the compressor in the background, guys. I'm just trying to get this done. So yeah, all right, the next step is we'll remask him again. And the reason why I masked it up, why I've done this is so the machine doesn't damage any of the mouldings or the rubber seals or things like that. So let's get organised, clean it all down and finish those leading edges up, and then mask it up, and then we'll put primer on it. Now we've backmasked all this up there. That's what we call backmasking. So when I shut that tailgate, it's going to reverse around the tape and it won't leave an edge, and that's what I don't want, and also block the paint from getting inside the door jam, tailgate jam. And same as up here, all of this tape here, we had to bend it right around the mould. So and we've had the remask it all. Now we've wiped and cleaned it all down there, so we get it all the paper and the other masking on it, and then we will be able to prime up. Well, there we go, we've got it all masked up. You got to put so much on there when you're doing the roof, because when you start spraying the roof with the spray gun, it just ends up everywhere, and I don't want paint all over the moulds or the mirrors. So yeah, there's another 45 minutes there just masking up. Makes it a lot easier if you're in a shop with a masking machine, of course. And what I was showing you up here before, the masking tape here, I've had to get that to go right down because that mould's like yay thick down in there, and I don't want any primer in there or paint or anything else there, because them moulds are an absolute nightmare to remove. Righto, we'll get the primer on now. There we go, she's all in primer, just the right time of the day, not too hot and not too cool, and this doesn't take that long to cure this stuff there, so that's a good thing. So we get all of that done now. Now I'll get a guide coat on top of that, and then we'll pull all the paper off. All right, we've unwrapped the Christmas present. We've got all of that done today, which is good. I'm happy about that. And I hope you've enjoyed what we've been doing there. We did have to do a few repairs again, unfortunately. I hope I'm still able to drive myself around and do everything at Sandra's age. She's 87. So, yeah. And she still drives herself to town and does everything, so I reckon that's pretty awesome, inspiring to me. I hope I can keep cracking on for that long there. So I'm happy with all of that there now. So this will be it for part 2, and then when we get part 3 coming out, we'll be putting some colour on it and getting it all looking the same. We're going to be painting the whole front, and we will blend the paint in the front fenders, hopefully, front mudguards. And hopefully we don't have to go into the doors. This one here could be a bit of a different story because how close the repair is to the door, but we'll see how good we can match the paint. And no doubt we'll probably have to do the pillars and these outer edges here now, because look at this. It's going to stand out really bad that when everything else is looking great. So yeah, we'll work out what we're going to do there. Run the buff over it and buff it up as good as I can, and pick it off and see how I can go, and hopefully I might be able to get away with a bit of clear coat to clean it up. Otherwise we're going to end up having to repaint the whole car. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be putting it all in colour and also giving it a detail up inside and out and making it like a new little car. Now if you are in Tasmania, and if you by chance know where there's a front bumper bar for this car, it's a 2000 Holden Barina, yep, opal in some countries, Vauxhalls in others, but and I need a mirror cover for the right hand side, and I also need a fuel cover flat. So if you can help me out there, that would be awesome. But that's it for today, folks, and hope you don't mind if you can like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3, which will be coming out this year soon, because we're going to get this painted before winter comes, and we'll keep cracking on. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you again on the next one. Bye for now.